Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. It's the end of the week. I know we're all glad to have the end of the week and the weekend coming. This is Attorney Kiana Franulic, just with a quick tip this Friday for anyone that may be facing a felony matter in the circuit court or in the circuit court. There are things called habitual offender status. There's a statute that addresses being a habitual offender, meaning that you have committed a prior felony. Whenever you have committed a prior felony, or felonies, you can be labeled or have something called a habitual offender notice filed against you in the court, saying that you are either a habitual second, habitual third, or habitual fourth. Habitual second means that you've committed one prior felony. Now you're charged with a second felony. Habitual third means you have two prior felonies. Now you're being charged with a third felony. And habitual fourth means you have three or more prior felonies, and now you're charged with a new felony. Habitual fourth is the highest that you can get, no matter how many prior felonies that you have. Habitual fourth status is the most that you can have a notice enhancement for. What that also means is that will enhance your sentencing and your sentencing guidelines. Your calculations are increased. Your maximum is increased. You can easily go from a probationable offense, what would normally be a probationable offense, to a straddle cell, which means county time, probation, or prison, or it can also take you to a prison sentence. Now, there's one quick note that I want to make sure everyone understands is that when you are charged with a habitual notice, all of those felonies do not have to be in the state of Michigan. It could be any felony that you have committed in the country, in any state. So if you have two convictions in Nebraska, and now you have a case in Michigan, please know you will be charged or given the habitual offender notice third degree for a third offense. The prosecutor has the right to do that. They have the right to look at your criminal history. There's something called lien that pulls up any outstanding warrants, charges, convictions, arrests, warrant requests, and it is something that stays with a person in the state that they're in. It also indicates whether or not there are any FBI searches or information on you as well as your right or inability to have or purchase or possess a firearm. A lien is what a prosecutor will use in filing that habitual offender notice. It is also used for calculating your guidelines. Like I said, the habitual offender notice is what can increase those guidelines. So you can go from something where you have no offenses, no felonies, no anything, and you're pretty much guaranteed probation. If you're young enough, you're going to get HIDA, or the Home Youthful Trainee Act. If you, however, do have a prior felony, then HIDA is no longer permissible under some circumstances, and you will be charged as a habitual offender. Sometimes you may still be eligible for HIDA depending upon certain circumstances, but generally speaking, that's how it works. So the whole point of this post is to please keep in mind that you must tell your attorney everything. We should not be caught off guard by out-of-state charges, out-of-state warrants, out-of-state prison terms. Most attorneys ask for this information in the very beginning, and if you're like myself and we're asking if you have a criminal history, we don't just mean Michigan. We mean everywhere. We want to know about any federal cases. We want to know about your misdemeanors. And here's another little note. That driving while license suspended is also a misdemeanor, and it does count against you. Okay? So that being said, please keep in mind that first and foremost, tell your attorney everything. Secondly, if you have prior offenses out of state, they do count. Third, your lien will always follow you. Everyone have a good weekend. Bye.